Hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Hope you guys are all doing well. Now we're less than a week to the start of the Premier League. It's gonna feel weird watching Arsenal now, the stress of the Premier League. But look, I'm excited. I'm very excited for this season in some way. But of course, there's one thing to talk about, and in this video, we are going to be talking about Arsenal's first 6 fixtures. Now, apparently, Arsenal have one of the most toughest starts to the Premier League, and I'm not those type of people who draw up conspiracies and whatever. I know there's a lot of fans that talk about conspiracies and how apparently it could be rigged and whatever. And for me, I've never really been into that. Look, at the end of the day, at the end of 38 games, every single person is going to face each team 2 times, home and away. And if you are the best team in the league, if you really are the deserving Premier League champion, it doesn't matter whether you play all the 6 top teams all in one go or whether you play them throughout the season. It does not matter. The top team will show their class and will basically win the league. It's as simple as that. I really don't look into the conspiracies. If you're the best team, you will win the league. It's simple as that. But also do have a very, very tough start of the season. In our first 6 games, we are playing both Liverpool and Man City, the Premier League champions in Liverpool at Anfield, and of course Manchester City. Probably have gone under the radar this season. I mean, not many fans have been picking Manchester City to be favourites for the Premier League title, and it's because of the signings Liverpool have done. Now Liverpool are of course going into the season as Premier League favourites. Now let's talk about the 6th game. Now I am going to talk about Manchester United in a separate video. I'm going to go into more detail on that, but of course Manchester United is the opening fixture. I'm not going to talk too much about the game. I'm just going to go into it briefly, but of course the other 6 games, when we do get close to it, I'm going to go into more detail. Of course things will change by then, and then there will be a separate match preview. But the first 6 games, we got Manchester United away, we got Leeds at home, then we have Liverpool away, and then I believe it's an international break, and then we got Nottingham Forest at home, Manchester City at home, and then Newcastle away. There's only really one team that I'm confident Arsenal should 100% beat, and that is Leeds. I'm not trying to disrespect Leeds, but look, they're coming from the Championship, okay? They just got promoted and also trying to fight for the Premier League title. So a newly promoted side, you should be able to beat them. But at the same time, look, also have found it very difficult last season against the newly promoted team. I remember the games at Southampton, the games of flipping Leicester City. We went life and death with some of those teams, so I'm not going to expect too much. But look, the most important thing about Arsenal this season is we have to go guns blazing in the first 6 fixtures. The truth is, Arsenal potentially could be 5 points behind the league title because of how hard the fixtures are. We could find ourselves almost like 5-6 points behind within the first 5 game weeks. That is how hard these fixtures are, and that is why Arsenal need to go guns blazing. Now, for me, I am going into the season. I'm looking into the season without no additional signings. So I know there's been a lot of rumors about Eze, Rodrigo. I'm looking at these fixtures without these players. Okay, I'm preparing for the worst case scenario, and with our current team, I believe Arsenal still have a decent chance against all of these teams. There are, of course, the most notable difficult one, which is Liverpool. A positive thing about these 6 games is that if Arsenal do manage to get through these games, it is a brilliant confidence boost. It will show the team that this is the chance to go win the league. It is a brilliant confidence boost, something to build upon throughout the season. Of course, when you look at our last 2 seasons when we challenged for the title, I'm not going to count last season, but the 2 seasons before that, the one where we first challenged for the title and the second season we challenged for the title, both seasons we peaked at different times. The first time we challenged for the league, we peaked at the start, okay, and I forgot that crazy run we went on. Second season, we started off very slowly, and near the end we went on that crazy run. And this season we need to find the balance, and these tough fixtures could give Arsenal that platform. If we do really well, if we manage to get out through these fixtures, it could give Arsenal the platform to go build upon it. Now, in terms of signings, look, I am still confident that the team as of now should be able to get through these first 6 games. Whether they get through the remaining fixtures is a different question. But when you look at the team when I look at the signings, I would argue 2 of the 6 signings in Gyökeres and Zubimendi are the only ones that really improve our first 11. The rest are probably just squad depth. The only one you can really argue whether they gain to our first 11 is Madueke. Now, Madueke did play against Atletico Bilbao and he looked okay. But the thing is, he's playing on the left-hand side, which is not his primary position. But even after all those signings, I still feel Arsenal are still short in terms of me saying confidently Arsenal have a chance to win the league. Because as of now, based on these signings, I would put us maybe 3rd third favourites for the Premier League title. Of course, you still got Chelsea, who looked really good. Then, of course, you got Liverpool and Manchester City. Look, Manchester City are always Manchester City. And this almost new style of Pep Guardiola is going to be very interesting to see. But I can tell you now, they're going to be in that Premier League title race. Now, let's talk about these 6 fixtures quickly individually. Now, Manchester United, look, I know Manchester United have signed a lot of good players. In terms of the front three, they have overhauled their front three. You're looking at Sesko, you're looking at Embremo, and you're looking at Cunha. But apart from the front three, even Manchester United fans are even saying it themselves. There is still a lot of work to do in terms of the team. There's still some gaps, and the main notable one is in midfield. Manchester United fans are saying that they need to sign another midfielder because both Ugarte and Casemiro are just not good enough. And if Arsenal are trying to win the league, look, Manchester United finished 16th or 17th last season. Arsenal need to go there and beat Manchester United. It's simple as that. Regardless of Manchester United's front three, Arsenal still have a better team overall, and it should be enough for us to go get the win. In terms of Leeds, look, we should simply beat Leeds, no questions about it. Anfield, now this is a big one. Liverpool are a different animal when it comes to Anfield, okay? I don't remember the last time they lost a league game at Anfield. And especially with these new signings, and maybe you could add Isaac into it, Liverpool are a very scary side. And we played them last season at Anfield where they were 2-0 up. And I thought to myself when I was watching the game, oh my God, this could be a demolition. With the 2-0 up within 30 minutes, I thought this could end 4-5-0. But luckily we managed to make a comeback. And arguably, and honestly, there was a chance for even us to nick it right at the end. But this is going to be a tough game. But you know what? Under Arteta, recently at Anfield, we had a really good record. There were some games where I really think we could have maybe won at Anfield. You know, if you remember the famous where we were winning 2-0, and then the season after that, we drew, I think it was 1-1 with Gabriel. We've had a really good record against Liverpool. And not just Liverpool, against top 6 oppositions, we've had a really good record against the top 6. So this is a game where I'm not expecting Arsenal to go win, but minimum I'm expecting here is at least a draw. Do not lose, okay? Ferguson always said that the way to win the league is you beat your rivals at home and then you draw away. And I think if Arsenal managed to get a draw at Anfield, that is a really good result. Nottingham Forest, look, Nottingham Forest last season, look, they were one of the dark horses. Whether they do the same thing this season is going to be completely different. Now, they did lose Elanga, which was one of the standout players last season, but we're getting them at a really good time. We're getting them on at the start of the season. And again, Arsenal should be able to beat Nottingham Forest. If you remember, our most complete performance, I would probably argue, was Nottingham Forest when we beat them at home last season. I think we beat them 3-0. And if you go watch the game, it was a complete domination. I don't think Nottingham Forest managed to get out of the box. So again, this is another game that Arsenal should win. Now we go on to Manchester City. Now, Manchester City, look, we beat them 5-1 last season. Now, I'm telling you now, this is going to be one of the most hostile matches this season. Also, Manchester City, you can slowly see there is a rivalry brewing. You saw it from last season, the whole stay humble, the whole 2-2, Haaland threw the ball at Gabriel's face, and then Lewis Skelly and Haaland. There is a rivalry brewing. And this game, Manchester City are going to remember exactly what happened last season. I'm sure Pep Guardiola is going to have a picture on the wall showing the 5-1 defeat. He's going to remind them how it felt when they were embarrassed 5-1 at the Emirates Stadium. And this is going to be a very tough match because Manchester City are coming out for revenge. They are going to try replicate exactly what we did to them by our own ground. This match is going to be hostile. But at the same time, I expect Arsenal to be able to get a win. We're a good enough side, especially at home. We should be able to beat Manchester City. And our record against Manchester City, especially at home, has been very good in the last 2 years. We beat them 5-1 last season. And the season before that, we beat them 1-0. And in the same 2 seasons, we drew at the ground. So Manchester City have not beaten us in a league game in our last 4 meetings. So we have a really good record against Manchester City, and I expect that record to continue. Even with our current team, I expect Arsenal to be able to go put a game against Manchester City. I know they signed a lot of players, but when you look at the players they've lost, the likes of De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva is still not the same player. We don't even know if Rodri is going to be fit for this game. Gundogan is still not the same Gundogan that they had 5 years ago. This is a transitional Manchester City, a team that is in transition, and also should be there to take advantage of it. So many years we have seen teams like Manchester City, like Liverpool, take advantage of during our transitional period, and it's time that Arsenal do the same. Just like we did last season, when Manchester City were crap, we made sure they knew they were crap, and I expect the same thing to happen once again at the Emirates Stadium. And the final game is Newcastle. Now, Newcastle, this match is going to be dependent, okay? It's going to be dependent on if they still have Isaac at that game. Now, Newcastle has been always a side that also have struggled against. I think last season, of the 4 times we played at them, I don't even know how many times we played against them. We only beat them one time, and that is near the end of the season when literally no team had anything to play for. So Newcastle has been one of our bogey team, and Eddie Howe has found a way to nullify Arsenal. And one of his big reasons he could do that is because of the likes of Isaac. When you have a player like Isaac, you only need 2-3 chances and he's going to bag. And that's something that gave Newcastle an advantage, because defensive they were a really good team and they only needed a few chances because they had Isaac on the opposite end. They knew they only create a few chances, Isaac was going to score, and for the rest of the game they could sit deep and defend. And that's what they've been doing for the last 3 games. They just know how to play against Arsenal. But this time I expect Arsenal to be able to counteract. I think maybe that's one of the reasons why we did play against Newcastle in the preseason, because we know we all struggle against Newcastle, and I think Arteta wanted to try something different against Newcastle. So I expect Arsenal to go beat Newcastle. Now with my predictions, I could be horribly wrong, but I'm expecting Arsenal to have 5 wins and 1 draw, and that 1 draw is against Liverpool. Now I could be totally wrong. By the end of these 6 games, Arsenal could have probably lost 4 games or 3 games, God knows, okay? But this is my expectations, okay? Arsenal have been challenged for the title now 4 seasons now, okay? This is our season to now win the title. If we're not able to beat these teams, if we're not able to confidently say we can beat these teams, then what's the point? Like, what is the point of us spending so much money if I can't expect their team to have a flying start? Like, it just doesn't make sense. So I'm expecting Arsenal to have at least 4 to 5 wins of these first games, and whether it happens is a different story. But if it doesn't happen, you know, it's going to be very demoralizing, and I think the pressure on Arteta is going to be huge this season, and that's what Arteta needs to deliver something. And these first 6 games, if it doesn't go well, things can get ugly, okay? That's why we have to go 100% in these first few fixtures, because we cannot be in a position where we're 5-6 points off the top of the title by September, okay? But yes, guys, that's just my thoughts. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think my predictions are too unrealistic? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.